Hello and welcome everyone. Oh, I'm so excited. Let's see. It looks like it's removed from Facebook and we're only streaming to YouTube. So let's try this again. Try this again. All right. I'm just going to go with it because it's telling me to remove a new broadcast. It was on Facebook. We saw it. We were there.
I know. I posted.
I know.
Like everywhere.
Hold on. Let me try to remove it. Give me a sec. We might get disconnected, so just bear with me.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to try to re-add it. Let's see if it's going. If anybody's on live, please tell us. Okay, that one's working.
Yeah.
Let me remove this one and add it back in. And yay, okay. Now it looks like we're broadcasting at all the sites. Those of you guys who are tuning in, please say something. Please say something so that we know that you're here live once we are streaming here. So
Yeah.
I'm going to get started though, because I'm believing that this is recording and being streamed out to several different locations. And I just wanted to come together. I'm really excited to have Lisa Rigoni, who is also a life coach. And we're going to share our stories. We're going to share a bit about believing for the season that we're in. And today is December 15th, 2020. It has been an interesting ride this year. So we're going to share our reflections. We're going to share what we're believing for and really our own personal journey and process throughout this entire year, and then our vision for beyond this year. So what you're going to get from this is you're going to walk away with at least 6 new beliefs that you can practice that we promise are going to inspire you, that are going to uplift you, that are going to really allow you to step into being that version of yourself that you've been desiring to be and to have what you desire to have. So my name's Cami. I'm a life coach, intuitive life coach, and I have Lisa here. Lisa, I wanted you to introduce yourself a little bit though, because if it's their first time tuning in, they haven't been watching our year-long partnership. So let's just introduce yourself. Maybe they haven't seen you before, what you do, and a little bit about your story to what got you here.
Okay. Thanks for having me on. First of all, I appreciate that. I'm Lisa Rigoni, a mindset, life, and health coach. And I've been coaching a while, but I started as a fitness trainer, like you did, actually. Mm-hmm. And I was the girl who hated PE and became a fitness coach. So that's the first part of my story, which was a little strange. And I would have never believed that before, that I would be in this arena. And then I also, boy, I can't even find my words. I started this. I've been a writer. I've been a coach as far as fitness trainer. Mm-hmm. And now I'm putting everything under one umbrella. Mm-hmm. And I'm writing devotions. I'm writing books to get out there, making podcasts, Facebook Lives, whatever you want to say. I'm a creative communicator. So I get to use all the tools that God has given me. Mm-hmm. And share those with people so that they can see differences in their own lives.
Yes. Oh, I
and
love
that's
that.
What's so important to me, that partnership with everybody.
Yes. And I've seen it's so amazing and interesting when we dedicate ourselves to the work and to coaching and to serving others. That means we're essentially signing up for some challenges in our lives. So I want to speak to you a little bit about maybe some challenges that you went through either this year or prior years and how you've been able to overcome them through the mindset work that you have been implementing over the past few years, and even more so in this year. And I do want to give Lisa a shout out because she's gone through my certification. She has several certifications, but she went through my Create, Believe, Conquer coaching framework, which is really exciting because we pioneered that together with my first cohort of students. So she graduated last month. So I want to commend you for that and for showing up for that.
So good.
Yes.
So good.
Yes. And that was a dream come true for me too, to have that certification out there.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit around things that you overcome in the past few years on using mindset and how you can help serve some people who are watching who maybe still are struggling in some areas, and your story is going to really inspire them?
Yeah. One of the things that I've learned through coaching with you, Cami, is circumstances do not control our lives. I believe that we can overcome our circumstances, and I've been able to do that in some financial aspects throughout the years that things haven't gone well. But that doesn't change who I am internally. It doesn't change who I am when I'm working with people or helping people. In fact, it's just the opposite. It's given me experience that I've gone through some things that now I can, as an overcomer in some of those situations, that I can now help other people get through them as well.
That's so good. And it's so interesting because the first time that we hear that we're not our circumstances, especially if our circumstances aren't going well, it's hard to hear it. So how did you make that transition through believing like, okay, I truly am not my circumstances? You know, you probably had to fight some battles within yourself. So what did you do to continue to believe that?
I still fight it sometimes. I think everybody does. We're human, and we believe that when we are in a specific situation, that dictates everything around us. But if we instead work through it in our mind and realize that we can continue to have a higher energy, we can live in that higher vibration in spite of our circumstances. And then, though they may not change, but our comprehension of them and how they affect us changes. Our clarity and our understanding of where we are. So do we as a person change just because we're in this circumstance? If we believe that's what happens, then yes. But if we believe that we can move forward and even perhaps change the circumstance because we have a new mindset, a new direction, a new destination in our mind that's going to take us on roads unexpected even, or better yet, we can anticipate or set expectations of new life and new changes.
Oh, that's good. And you brought up something interesting because in order to actually get new circumstances, so you brought up like believing it and feeling it before it happens, but you also brought up a block, I think, for many people, which is stepping into the unknown. Because sometimes the job that you hate or the relationship that you hate or whatever, it feels safer than going out into the unknown. So how do you manage that?
I think you have to do a 1% shift just in the way you're thinking. You also need to really spend some time getting to know yourself. So spending some time in meditation and in prayer. And as you know, I at first had real trouble with the word meditation, and I don't know why. It's because I thought it was woo-woo or something, and I had a fear of some of those things, but I don't now, because here's what I know. I know that meditation for me is listening to God. Praying is talking to God. But if you're always talking and you're never listening, then you don't have that quiet space. You don't have that opportunity to really dive in and do the things that fall into your passion and purpose.
That
Or
is so
even
good.
into just your everyday life.
Yes. Ah,
I
and
think one of the things we did, Cami, is
mhm,
values. And I think that is really, really an important start for anybody who's
yes,
trying to get their beliefs into matching the actions that they're taking.
yes.
So aligned action is the other step.
Hmm.
You say you believe something, but how much do you believe it? Are you taking the actions to step into the space for you to see the results?
Yes. I really like that. And I want to let people know values is more of an in-depth training. And as such, I have an in-depth training on values scheduled this week inside of Powerful Potential Facebook group. So if you're watching this in the future, just go inside the Facebook group. We're going to be doing a training on values inside that so you can actually dive into that. But even simply today, and I feel like I have to introduce this guy because I'm gonna keep drinking out of it, and I feel like it's making a special appearance and it's distracting. So I might as well just say, this is my little llama. We'll call him Lovey the llama. Um,
I
my
love
husband, yeah, my husband got it for me, and on the inside it says "Love you lots" right here with like a bunch of L's like llama. So just because my
That's
voice
awesome.
is my voice needs some care. But I'm just going to keep drinking it. I wanted to let you guys know that's why I've been on a lot of calls today. But I'm so glad you brought up values and how important that is for the actions. And that's part of the component that I teach within our certification as well.
Mm,
Um, but it's so interesting. If you say you believe something, you don't really, unless you're taking the actions of it, right?
right.
So I want to start jotting down for those who are note takers. I know I have note takers in the room. We want to leave you today with 6 beliefs that you can choose to start believing on your own. And Lisa, you kind of said a couple of them, which is we are not our circumstances. I think that was one of them.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't hear another. You said another one, but I didn't hear the other one of them. So as we're starting to jot these down, just let me know if they come up for you. Um, Oh, the comfort zone, 1% shift. So basically,
Mhm.
dedicating yourself to a 1% shift daily, that takes the pressure off. Because especially since I
Absolutely.
work with recovering perfectionists, I know you too help people get over self-sabotage. So just
Yes.
committing to a 1%, like 1% shift is enough, is a really good belief to use. And then you start to you're like, oh, cool, I can do 1%. Easy. Like, that's easy. I can do that. Um, and then tell me about the comfort zone one, because especially like introducing something like meditation, it had to align with your values. That was first and foremost.
Absolutely.
Um, so I may wonder about, we'll just put down values here too. But what else did you want to add around any other things that you've been believing? Oh, yay, Lucy's here. Yay, Christine's here. Okay, so we know we're live.
Awesome.
We're 13 minutes in, and now we
Hey.
finally know we're live. We were just living on a prayer there for a little bit.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, yeah. So, but what else did you want to say about your beliefs this year that you have really chosen to dig into and to take action on?
Yeah. Getting out of the comfort zone, I probably wouldn't have thought about doing a Facebook Live
Oh,
before.
yeah. And this was like
And
what, February when we started working together? February, January?
it was January.
Okay.
And one of the things that Kimmy had me do was a Facebook Live and said, it's not really for anybody out there at this point. It's for you to get comfortable in talking and those things. And I found that I love them. And that's one of the ways for me that I best communicate is
Mhm.
to just pop on and talk to folks and tell them something that is motivating, inspirational, give some kind of valuable content that will help and serve them in some ways.
Yes.
And so now that's one of the things I do. And I even set up a morning devotion time
Mhm.
to share with people. And it was amazing.
Oh, I love it. And Lucy
Yeah.
says, Lisa, you are so good with your lives. So you're getting
Thank
some
you.
validation. Uh, Although we love it and we appreciate it, Lisa's to the point where she don't even need that validation. She just goes live
No.
just because. So it feels good to you now. So something early on felt uncomfortable for you.
Oh,
You
yeah.
kept practicing it. Now it feels easy and natural for you. But what thoughts got you to keep going?
It's because when I first started him, I am a recovering perfectionist. I used to call myself a paralyzed perfectionist because
Mhm.
somebody jokingly gave me that title, and then I internalized it. And
Mm.
then I half jokingly was telling people, yes, I'm a paralyzed perfectionist. And then I became that. So, one of the things I believe is that we are who we tell ourselves we are.
Mm.
So, if I'm a paralyzed perfectionist, in my mind, that's what I'm saying all the time.
Mhm.
And part of it is because I can't get everything perfect. So I'm not going to go live because what if I make a mistake? What if my hair looks weird? What if
Mhm.
whatever? And now I've gone on and I don't always fix my hair. I don't always have my face on because the message that's going out to people is more important to me than that.
Mhm. Yes. So finding something like a cause or a passion or a mission that's greater than you, that allows you to
Absolutely.
get out of your own way and just serve.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, what about people who don't feel like they have it? There are people out there who are maybe they're in a job they don't love. Maybe they're not living their passion like you and I are. And they're like, yeah, great, good for you. How would you speak to them on starting to step into more of who they're called to be, even if they still have that job?
Yeah, I think first you have to really get aligned with those values as we
Mhm.
talked about.
Yeah,
Because sometimes the job is that circumstance,
yeah.
but you can still live, um, you can live that passion and purpose outside of the job.
Ooh, that's freedom right there. I'm
Yeah,
going
it
to
is.
just declare I live my passion and purpose every day, right? Like you can choose that right now, no matter where you are.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to share a
I
bit of
have
my story.
goosebumps. That's very cool. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live my passion and purpose every day. Um,
every day.
and I'm going to share a little bit of my story for those who haven't heard. For those who are loyal followers, we got Christine and Lucy in the front row here cheering us on. But for others who maybe don't know, so I was a fitness coach for years, and then I transitioned my business in 2018. I went on this retreat to Bali, and I had a breakdown and breakthrough year, and I ended up closing that fitness business, and I ended up going back to work in all of 2019 because financially that's just the choice I had to make. I didn't have enough clients during the transition to carry over. And so went back to work. I have a degree in biology. So I went to biotech sales and I was sitting behind a computer. It was just looking back now, it felt like a dream, like a bad dream, right? But what I proved to myself in that moment was that I am able, again, I'm not my circumstances, I am able to be the person I want to be regardless of my circumstances. So sharing this tiny office with two people that triggered me every day, everybody seemed like they were talking slow, moving slow, and I wanted to get all the things done. And all of my triggers were coming up. And what it showed me is in the past, what I would do is I would allow those triggers to control me
Mhm.
and I would react and then I would become the bad guy. And that's some of the reasons why I got fired 3 times in my life. Two of them were my fault. One of them was just a manifestation, but it took at least 2 times for me to realize that that was something that I needed to change within me. So
Yeah.
one of my beliefs that I'll share is that I believe everything is always happening for me. So even that job, when I was at it, even though I would have been rather running my business, I needed that to prove to myself that I can be happy in any circumstance. I can shine my light anywhere, regardless of if I'm feeling like I don't want to be there. that is a choice for me. And so now when I ask my clients to do the same, I can say, listen, I was waking up at 4 a.m. and then I was running 3 miles in the dark. And then I was getting in a car driving for an hour and 45 minutes one way. Then I was sharing an office with people who I really didn't like. And I was just smiling and spreading kindness. And then I was getting in the car at 4:30 and I was getting home at 6:30 p.m. And then I was going to bed and then I was doing it all again for 5 months. So when I say that this is all possible, it comes from that experience of I've been in it. It is possible. And it's happening for you. What else do you got? So I think we've gone through you've given us quite a few beliefs, but do you have anything else you want to add on the belief scale, the belief borrowing?
Really, it's just that I believe that I am where I'm supposed to be.
Ooh, that's such a good thought, right? Because how does it make you feel when you feel that thought?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good because I've believed before that I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not being who I'm supposed to be. I'm not where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's just not the case now.
Yes.
I believe I am where I'm supposed to be. And that all of the experiences that I've had have propelled me to this place and will continue to propel me.
So when you wake up believing the thought, I'm where I'm supposed to be, you start off the day feeling good. And then
Absolutely.
I'm imagining you're energized. Then you can do your Facebook Lives because you truly believe I am where I'm supposed to be. You're not always looking at how things are going wrong and how, okay, I don't, I weigh too much or I should weigh less or I don't have enough money or I should have more. If you're just believing you are where you're supposed to be, that just allows so much creative energy to flow through.
It does. And that's what I want for my clients.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I want for people in general.
Yeah.
When you can live and you know that when you wake up, you are where you're supposed to be.
Yes.
And if you don't, then you can call a coach or somebody to help drive you there.
And it's interesting. So this is a really cool topic. And Christine's saying, yes, Lisa, you're amazing and beautiful. She's saying, amen, sister. But it's interesting because I call it the miracle of coaching, right? Like coaching is actually a miracle because it can change your life. But just because you get a coach, it doesn't mean your life is horrible. It doesn't even mean that anything has gone wrong. Like you are actually also exactly where you're supposed to be when you hire a coach to help you get to your next level.
Yes.
So there's really never anything wrong. And I don't like to, sometimes people have this misconception of coaching and like, oh, you have to have a meltdown or you have to have a horrible life. And it's really not true.
No.
It's just when you're ready to go to your next level, you have that coach in your corner, you have that support, you have that person who can show you your thoughts and your beliefs and your actions and how they're not lining up. So you can start with the belief, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I still want to lose 20 pounds, and I still want to make X amount of money. So it's still a belief that serves you no matter where you are on the way to where you are going and where you desire to be.
That's why one of my title for my full business is Chief Encouragement Officer. That's what I do. That's what I want to do, is encourage other people to move forward in their lives.
Yes.
Just the way I've been coached to do.
Yes. And we don't have that. And I think that's why life coaching is really becoming very mainstream in terms of, it's like a personal trainer. It's like having an interior decorator. It's like having somebody come and organize your house. It's just having that support system to help you do what, you could do it on your own. Like you could clean out your whole closet on your own and organize it, like honestly, but like it's a lot more fun and a lot faster, and you get more breakthroughs when you have somebody who knows what they're doing to come in alongside you and support you and to clean it up and to organize it and say, do you really need this? And you're like, oh yeah, no, I've had that for a while. Like that thought is not serving me anymore. Or like that old dress that's like 5 sizes too small, I don't really need it. And that's essentially what coaching is just helping you let go of what no longer serves you, create this awareness so that you can move into the next level of where you want to be, what your potential is.
Helping you understand and find that clarity.
Yes. Ooh, that's good. Okay, so let me go into, I have 2 more beliefs if y'all are taking notes. So my first belief was, I believe everything is always happening for me. And I choose that thought again and again, even when it doesn't look like it. So I'll do it in the morning as a journaling session, and I'll write it down, and I'll like manifest and journal how my day is going to go. But then let's say something happens. Like today, I had these letters, like these financial letters that I needed to pay something, and they sent me the wrong amount. And so I called them back, and then essentially like some other office has the letter now. So it was like this big kerfuffle, if you will. And so in the past, I would have gotten very triggered and very annoyed. And I would have had this thought that, like, see, money is just hard. It's just so hard. And I have to call, and it's always a battle, and it's always confusing, right? Because that's been my story for so many years. And then I just kind of hung up the phone, and she told me to call this other department. And I was basically like, everything's always working for me. And if they want to clear this up, they're going to call me. So like, I'm not going to track them down. Like, they're going to realize that this is messed up, and I'll just wait for their call. And until then, I guess they won't get that payment. So like, I just believe everything's working out for me, and it's easy. And I'm just like, okay, well, you guys messed it up. You can figure it out. Yeah. So that was a really fun like thought, but I noticed myself getting triggered, and then I was like, oh, I get to choose how this is going to go. And I choose that this is going to be easy. And I choose that I'm going to pay less than what they said. And then I moved on. And then number two, this kind of goes along with that belief, but number two is there is always a way. There is always a way. So even if I can't see it, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't need to see it to know that there's a way. I just need to believe that there is a way, and that way will be provided for me at all times. Yeah. And then the last belief is be it to see it. And I'm going to dive into this one a little more because it's like a play on words. And if you haven't worked with me before and you're like, I don't get it. Like, you and I talk about energy all the time, right? So it's essentially, if you desire to have that relationship, that loving, committed relationship, if you desire to have that job that you love or the business that you love, making the money that you want to make, you first step into being, okay, if I was making, and we've done this exercise before, if I was making $12,000 right now, how would I act? What energy would I be in? How would I show up? And I remember I did an experiment one day where I was like, oh, I'm going to get a massage today, and I'm going to get a massage as 12K Cami, as somebody who just made this amount of money. And again, don't let the number trigger you, right? Some of you might be like, oh my gosh, that's too much. Pick a number that's 1,000, 2,000, whatever. But if you were already making it, what energy would you be in? And I was just like so nice. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, hello. And I was like opening the door, and I was smiling at people, and I like tipped the masseuse really well. And I was just like, thank you so much. Like, I was just in like benevolence and gratitude and abundance. Yeah. And I did not yet have that money in my bank account. So I was just being it. And now I've pretty much created that. Like, I'm close. So I won't say I'm there yet, but it's inevitable. It's already here. It's already happened because I've been embodying it, and I've been being it first in order to see it later. Most people think you have to have the thing or have the job or have the relationship to be it, whenever the truth and the actual secret to life is you be it first, then you see it. Yeah, Lucy loves that. She says, be it to see it. So those are our beliefs. And I'm curious, since we do have Lucy and Christine here, who are coaches themselves, this is like the coaching corner. I'd love for you guys to type in the chat what you have committed to believing this year, or what you're committed to believing for the future, for 2021. So type that in the chat. And Lisa, did you have anything to add? I'm going to take a little sip here.
One of the things you said was gratitude. And I think that's such a key element in everything that you believe, is to go at life with an attitude of gratitude, no matter the circumstance. Okay. Because you're going to learn a lesson if it's a circumstance that is negative. And if that's how you're believing it, that's how you're understanding it, that everything that happens is something, there's something in there for which to be grateful.
Yes.
For. And I think that's a big deal. And it can be the smallest blessing, or it can be a mountaintop experience. But it's not always going to be a mountaintop experience. And I think sometimes people believe that that's the only thing to be grateful for, is the big things. But goodness, what if we started our day thankful because we opened our eyes and we got out of bed?
Mm-hmm.
Grateful because we have a roof over our head. We have a job, even if it's not the one we love at this particular moment, but we have jobs which give provision. To just have that attitude of gratitude no matter what.
Yes. Oh. Something was coming up for me. I want to share this story. I don't think I've shared it. I don't know if I shared it with you guys or not, but I got fired for the first time 6 years ago. And I got fired because I should have left that job. I should have left it. I knew I was supposed to be doing something else, but I kept sticking on to it because of security. And I kept getting angrier and angrier about the things I had to do. And it was a lot of travel and it just wasn't a good fit for me personally. It would have been fine for somebody else, but it just wasn't a good fit for me at the time. So I ended up becoming very bitter, becoming very resentful, starting to get an attitude, right? And that's ultimately what led to me getting fired. And it's so interesting because when I got fired, I was the victim. I felt like the victim. I was not ready to own up to it. I was blaming it on everybody else. I was kind of blaming it on this other person who was tattling on me. And I was trying to validate all the reasons why I was unhappy, all the things. And it literally took me, I just this year looked up my old boss's phone number, gave him a call, and just said, hey, I wanted to reconnect with you and just say thank you for being a mentor and, a guide in my life. And, I just wanted to let you know I'm a life coach now. And that was a pivotal moment in my life that actually blessed me to change, that now opens up the work that I'm doing now, which is certifying other coaches, which are now going off to change the world.
Yeah.
So even that, which seemed really bad at the time, and it hurt, of course, it hurt. It challenged my ego. It put me in this state of really shame and judgment. But that's part of what I needed in order to become who I am now, in order to serve at the level that I'm serving now. So I'm speaking this over anyone who is having very challenging circumstances right now, because we don't want to negate it, especially if you're still in that raw, emotion season of oh, this really sucks. Yes, it can really suck, and it can still be serving you. Sometimes we just need that distance and that time to see how this served us and how this really was for the greater good of you and for all. So I want to let people know that too. We're not always rainbows and sunshine. I'll tell you that.
No.
Yeah. But there are things always to be grateful for.
Sometimes it gets messy.
Yes.
Sometimes life is messy.
Yeah. And you're still exactly where you're supposed to be, right? In that mess, right? It's like in forests, there are natural fires that come through and burn down the old growth in order for the new growth to come. It's actually a part of nature. When the fires come, burn it down. It looks like everything's dead, but there are certain plants that need to, the fertile soil is what allows them to come up, and they wouldn't be able to come up without everything burning to the ground. So if you're in a season like that, know that just means that there's fertile ground for more to come and grow.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
See some comments coming in. Lucy says, I've committed to believing that I am worthy of becoming. Yes, this is me as a coach and a writer. I believe that I get the opportunity to do it. That is such a good belief.
It's so good.
Because it's so transitionary too. If you can just believe that if you can be open to believing in your own self-worth, that's a good way to start versus saying I am worthy when you don't believe it. But if you're just open to believing that you are worthy, that is a 1% shift that you can take. Because some of these beliefs and statements that Lisa and I have been working on for a few years now, we've practiced them and we believe them and we embody them. But if you're just starting out and you're in the middle of a hurricane, you're probably not going to believe everything's happening for me as your house is on fire, right? You're just not going to, you're going to be like, yeah, I don't know. So if you can make it gentler, like Lucy was saying, I'm committed to believing, we can get on board with that. that I'm worthy of
Mhm.
becoming. That's a really, really good one. I'm
That's
glad you put that in
beautiful.
there. I love that. Okay. Lucy says, thank you. I say it that way because I'm always evolving. Yes, we all are. We're all perfect just as we are, and we all get the opportunity to keep on growing.
Yes,
That's the
that's so
beauty of
good.
being a human. Okay. So we're about halfway through here. I want to transition into uh, maybe some of the big breakthroughs you've had this year, or some of the breakthroughs you've led clients through this year. But I see this as a breakdown and breakthrough year for a lot of
Mhm.
people because it's been reflective, it's been introspective, right? We spend a lot of time at home with ourselves, with our families. And this month, like December, is that month of, it may be rest, it may be relaxation, but the way I'm feeling it, I am like energized and I'm like ready. Like, I don't know if that you feel that too, but like I'm just feeling like it's time. Okay. Like we've been through a lot and now I'm ready to just recreate and create something new. So can you talk about some breakdowns and breakthroughs of maybe yourself or your clients this year? And I'll share some. And then we'll kind of wrap up the call with opportunities to work together or to continue this beautiful personal development on a next level.
Yeah. A couple of client situations I had this year is had somebody come to me, the wife in a relationship, it came to me and was expressing that she was struggling with something that was said, and she was internalizing it, and she was ready to leave. I mean, just go,
Mm,
actually, to a whole different state.
mm,
And I suggested that she think about it a little bit first and to really figure out what was going on, because you don't have just one statement and then
mm,
suddenly you're done,
mm,
typically.
mhm,
And later her husband called and said, I know that June,
mhm,
for just
mhm,
a name, that June called you and she had a discussion with you and that she was talking about leaving. And I wanted to know if you could come and talk to me or talk to us together. And by the way, she's in the car with me, so she knows I'm calling you.
mm,
And I said, I can. So I did. And what I did was listened to them.
mhm,
And I asked questions of them that made them stop and think about how things were affecting themselves and expressing it, and also how their actions were affecting one another. And she didn't leave. And in fact, they're stronger now than ever. I made some suggestions for them, and they've called me several times. And when we're out in public, they also happen to be friends. So it was one of those
mhm.
situations where I don't know if I want to get in the middle,
Yeah.
but because I believe that the things I have to share are valuable and I have the training, I
Mm,
was able to give them the tools and the resources that they needed.
yes.
So now when we're out, they say, she saved our marriage.
Mm,
And relationships are so important. So when there's opportunity to help somebody see more clearly,
yes.
because if we're upset with somebody, that's all we want to see.
Yep.
That victim mentality. And
Mhm,
sometimes it really is. You are a victim,
mhm,
but it isn't always. And
mm.
then another
Well, I want to pause right
client,
there real quick because I want to break this
sure.
down for on the client perspective, what it took for them to get the help is stepping
Mhm.
into willingness and responsibility. But I'm curious, is there any
Absolutely.
other thing that you think that did they did the right thing on their end? So they asked for help, they stepped into willingness, they took responsibility. But anybody else who maybe is in either a similar situation or maybe a job situation, do you have any recommendations for them in terms of seeking out the support that they need?
there's a coach wherever you are. And something that people need to also keep in mind, that coaching and counseling, psychologists, those are completely different. A coach comes to you and listens to what you have on your heart, in your mind, your situations, your circumstances, and then asks all the right questions, hopefully, or at least some of the right questions to help you answer, to find that, again, that clarity, to find the clarity of where the breakdown is, and then to find out how we pull you through into a breakthrough.
That's so good. And it's good to always, when we're talking about coaching, let people know where the boundaries are and where the lines are in terms of mental health and in terms of stability. So if you are, really, if you're having something going on in your life that's disrupting your day-to-day flow and your ability to actually live your life, we call that kind of below baseline, where you're not functioning well enough. We want to get you to baseline. So you're going to want to see a psychologist, a therapist, a mental health counselor, until you get to that point of baseline, to where you feel like, I might still be working through some things with my therapist, but that is a good time when you're like, okay, I'm ready to move on to my next level and start to make a plan for the future and start to grow. That's where coaching comes in. So I'm glad you brought that up too, because we can't know, especially for relationship issues, especially if there's abuse in a relationship. Absolutely get out and seek your own type of support. So we're not always saying it's a victim mentality and you're not truly a victim. Obviously, if there's abuse, physical, mental, emotional going on. But the first thing is the willingness to see that your situation needs to change and to just start asking for help. And that appropriate help will find you, whether that is a therapist, counselor, coach, so on and so forth. You'll be able to know what's going to be right for you.
Another way to look at that is, as a fitness trainer, I can help clients with their fitness programs, but I'm not a physical therapist. So often somebody maybe has surgery and then they have physical therapy. And then they've gone from that physical therapy, but they still need someone to come alongside them and coach them through maintenance, through the next level. And I think that's kind of where a life mindset coach
That's a really great analogy. I like that. And I'm going to borrow that from here on out. So thank you for that. Because it's like, if you have trauma in your muscle and there's pain in that muscle, you actually can't progress and you can't work out until you get that acute trauma taken care of. It's the same thing with anything therapy going on in life. If you're in the trauma, we need to clear that up, get it healed, and then you can move forward. Oh, that was good. Lucy says, yay for helping them. The beauty is that you can have both a therapist and a coach. Yes. And I'm glad you brought that up too.
Absolutely.
I have several clients who have been seeing their therapist one day a week, seeing me as a coach another day a week. So that's absolutely beautiful and it's harmonious. Okay. And then what was your other client? You said you had another client you wanted to share their story as well.
Another client was trying to find routine in her life and situate things better. She had a relationship issue. So I was able to talk her through. And again, I didn't give her specific advice. I didn't fix her problem, but I was able to give suggestions and ask the questions to help her move forward. And since she has coached with me, she has left an abusive relationship. She has lined up her retirement and her finances. She has bought a home and stopped renting. And it's not because I came in and magically went, ooh, here, let's solve everything. But it's because she was able to hear her own voice, reflected back to her a little bit. And we were able to make some goals. And we set mini goals for her. And we had, every client is not alike. So we have different tools and different resources to provide depending on what you're going through.
Mm,
And I think that's important too. It's not always a cookie cutter kind of thing.
yes. So good. I love that so much. And it's interesting because everything touches everything. So maybe they're working on health and wellness, but now all of a sudden their finances are getting better too, and their relationships are getting
Mhm.
better because our patterns and our decision making, they show up in the same way across every area of our life. So you'll start to
Absolutely.
notice as you start to improve one, the others are going to start to improve as well as you start to be intentional about that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing those stories.
Thank you for asking.
Yes. So I'm going to transition a little bit because today is actually the last day for everybody watching to get 40% off of the Powerhouse on Purpose Academy. So I wanted to talk to the people a little bit about that. And you've been a part of that. It's been so cool because we both have created so many things this year, co-created, created
Mhm.
together. And so I wanted you to maybe
Yeah.
share a little bit. I'll kind of introduce the Academy first, but I want you to share what you experienced being a part of it.
Sure.
And then moving forward, you're going to be one of the support coaches. So if they are totally vibing with you, they're going to see you
Yes.
in the Academy as well. So the reason I started the Powerhouse and Purpose Academy, number one, I love like just powerhouse women, like just making an impact. Like they know that when they take ownership and responsibility for changing themselves, they change their families, they change their community, and ultimately we change the world. So you are a woman of impact that wants to come into the community. And I coach on everything really from the areas of health
Yeah.
to money mindset to abundance to energy to manifesting. And we do this every single month. There is a different intensive. And you get access to all the previous modules that we've already had, which we did Self-Love Perfectionist Project, which is all about having just a deep self-worth for yourself so that you can
Yes.
ask for what you desire. We've done health, we've done money manifestation. And it has been like a complete, I get so excited just thinking about it, thinking about the women on here who are tuning in, who are part of the Academy, the fact that you've been in it. And next year, it's going to be 9 months long. And I like to say like 9 months is as long as it takes to make a baby, right? Like a baby is a new life. So essentially,
Mhm.
when you commit to your own personal growth and development, you have a new life at the end of 9 months. Like that is results guaranteed. If you're showing up, if you're taking part, if you're implementing all of these trainings in the individualized coaching, your life is going to be amazingly transformatively different by the end of the program, which is in September 2021. So I just wanted to give them the details of how to get involved in that. They just go to powerhouseonpurpose.com. Today's the last day to get that 40% off. But I want to hear from your perspective, and I'm curious on how it's been for you if you're looking at the Academy as a whole, what you've been able to accomplish in being a part of the Academy.
One of the things I love about the Academy is there's so much partnership and relationship building and encouragement of one another. Um, so so often we think of women,
Mm-hmm.
we're made out to be we're scratching,
Mm-hmm.
we're fighting, we're infighting, but that's not the vibe here. The vibe is you can do it. You are doing it. And who do you need within here to come alongside of you, to hold your hand, to pull
Mm-hmm.
you along, to push you and nudge you, and to just say, hey, great job.
Yes.
And there's so many different opportunities because, again, we do have different topics that we focus on. So there have been, we're doing manifestation right now, and it's fantastic because we are actually declaring every day, we're making a declaration of where we are. So it could be declaring where we are in this minute, but some of us are declaring where we're going to be in the future. We're declaring as if it's already happened, but it's going to be later.
Yes.
How beautiful is that?
Yes.
And we're doing it and just pumping each other up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody has a question, anybody can jump in and answer.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't sit there and wait and hope Cammie has the magic bullet for
Mm-hmm.
us. Oftentimes, especially in our lives, because she does Facebook Lives,
Mm-hmm.
and she does different events for us, vision board workshops.
Mm-hmm.
that we've done, just to prod us along. But we can answer one another because everybody has different experiences, and that's also the beauty of it. It's a very eclectic group. It's not, we're not cookie cutter people.
Yes.
Everybody has different things to share, and we're able to do that in that academy. So, and at 40% off, please jump in.
Yes.
I'd love to see you there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And I love too what you're saying about community on, I feel like we all go through seasons. So over a 9-month period of time, you're going to spend time being the encourager, and you're going to spend time needing to be encouraged. And all of it is beautiful, and all of it is okay. And I'm just so proud of energetically calling in all of you in this community, because, I put the intention out there to have this beautiful, diverse, supportive community from all over the world. And it's happening, but it's also happening because people like you have heard the call, and you're like, this is in alignment with my vision and what I decide for my life. And so I just know the container is going to get even more beautiful as we're attracting so many more beautiful souls. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the next intensive. So I'll touch on the next intensive a little bit. It's coming up January 14th, and it's called Recreate You. Now, what's really cool about this is I almost launched this at the beginning of January 2020. And something energetically was off. And I was like, it just doesn't, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. Well, obviously I didn't know what 2020 was going to bring, but this word recreate is literally like the fire came through, burned everything down. Now we're truly rising up from the ashes. We're really recreating a new foundation with potentially new jobs, new relationships, new businesses, new marketing strategies. Like everything's new. And so this word recreate you came to me last year, but it truly is the beginning of 2021, which is what we're going to dive into. And we're going to be diving into values during that. So you will be starting the year like so strong in your values, and it may be time to change them. It may be time to add. It may be time to really start to think, okay, where do I want to be? Not just this year, but the next year, the next 3, 5, 10 years. So what I also always say is, and this has been my experience in every single one of my coaching programs that I've paid money for, it transforms you beyond just that 9 months that you're in there. It's something that's with you forever. It's something that you learn it, and then a couple of years later, you're like, oh my gosh, I get it now. Like whoa, just because it was a seed was planted. And so I've called my coaches from maybe 3, 4 years ago, and I'm like, hey, remember that thing you were telling me about, like manifesting money? I get it. Like, oh my gosh. And at the time it felt so hard. So I always want you to think of any investment that you make on yourself is always returned to you 1,000 times over, because it is always with you even after this year. And these relationships are always with you. So you're going to be calling each other up in 10 years time, looking at each other's visions and books and dreams. And that's what I love too, is the ripple effect of the relationships and the partnerships that are created from this community. Yes, Christine, I can hear her yelling. She's like, run and sign up for the Pop Academy now. I'm so excited to be heading into this group again. I am too. I'm like crying just for the beautiful energy that comes through. Like it's transformational. It is absolutely amazing. And you guys have until midnight tonight to get that 40% off. And let's just say, for whatever reason, you're watching this replay and you're like, no, I missed it. Wow. Just know that the timing is still okay. Everything is fine. I do have the opportunity to have a payment plan. So just reach out to me, go to powerhouseonpurpose.com, see what the current payment plan is. But today is the pre-sale, like the last day of the pre-sale. So you're going to get that 40% off pricing. And I don't know about you, but I like a deal. I like a deal. I like to get those sales. So so we're going to do that for you till tonight. Okay. Is there anything else we want to add before we close out this call? This has been a beautiful, abundant energy. And I just love, I love it. I love holding this space.
I have this really cool poem I wanted to read if we had time.
Please.
One of my clients one of my fitness clients sent it to me as my Christmas gift last year.
Oh.
And I just think it's beautiful. And especially as we're talking about the different seasons of life and things, it's called Advice from a Tree. a poem to share, and it's by Elon Shamir. Dear friend, stand tall and proud. Sink your roots deeply into the earth. Reflect the light of a greater source. Think long term. Go out on a limb. Remember your place among all living beings. Embrace with joy the changing seasons. For each yields its own abundance, the energy and birth of spring, the growth and contentment of summer, the wisdom to let go of leaves in the fall, the rest and quiet renewal of winter. Feel the wind and the sun and delight in their presence. Look up at the moon that shines down upon you and the mystery of the stars at night. Seek nourishment from the good things in life, simple pleasures, earth, fresh air, light. Be content with your natural beauty. Drink plenty of water. Let your limbs sway and dance in the breezes. Be flexible, remember your roots, and enjoy the view.
Wow.
And I just think it's gorgeous.
It is. I felt that. I'm tearing up over here. That is the embodiment of life right there. We have all that we need and abundance all around.
Yes, we
that
do.
Is so good. And water your roots, take in the nourishment. Yes. Yeah, Lucy says beautiful. I love it. So let me just see. I'm going to pull a manifestation card here because it feels like that time. We're in that winter season over here in the U.S. Oh, let me run off camera real quick. My cards are on the table. Hold on.
So I'm so excited that you all have joined us tonight and trust that you have been blessed by it.
Okay. So I love having people in the group from different places around the world. Like in Australia, it's summer. So it's like so interesting that they're like at the beach and it's Christmas. But here in the US, it's winter. And a lot of time it is that reflective time. And it is that time to think about the new year. But I'm going to pull one of my favorite cards from my favorite deck. It's called Super Attractor by Gabby Bernstein. And it's just about what you're believing for 2021. So you can add this in your journal if you're taking notes. And you can add this into what you're believing. Yes. Yes, Christine says, lovely. I love that poem, Lisa. Thanks for sharing. Christine says, yes, thanks. Okay. Which one do we got today? Is this the one? Okay, let's see. Okay, here's what it looks like. It's like green and it looks like an angel feather or angel wing. Okay. It says, when I merge my desire with faith, I can take action from a place of peace rather than control. When I merge my desire with faith, I can take action from a place of peace rather than control. Ooh, that's deep. You might write that down and meditate on that for a minute because
that's so good.
It is about having faith. Yes, we have the desire for our life, and it's believing that that desire is just going to be filled because it's within our heart. It's from God. It's not selfish. It's not self-seeking. It is truly just desiring to be happy. And when our happiness flows, it overflows, it serves and helps others as well. So when I just believe that my desires and I have faith for them, then I can take action from a place of peace rather than control. I love that, you guys. Lucy says powerful. So I'm going to end it there, you guys. Thank you for being on live with us, Christine and Lucy. Anybody who's watching the replay out there, please let us know, #replay, that you're here. Leave a comment with your beliefs, your desires, what you're manifesting for the year. I love doing that because especially on social media, it'll send you a reminder of what you did last year, right? And it'll pop up. And so many times I've seen things happen like, oh my gosh, I remember when. And so as soon as we forget to celebrate those manifestations that come through. So I invite you to leave a comment, and please, please, I invite you to check out the Powerhouse on Purpose Academy. Not for me, not for Lisa, for you. This is for you. It is so extremely accessible. I did it on purpose.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be accessible for people to get high-level life coaching in an amazing community for a fraction of the price, because I felt I had a need for that in my life whenever I needed to
Mhm.
be in a group program, and that's all I could do at the time. And I want to serve many who are like you, who this is the stepping stone to you getting to your next level. So that is my gift
Absolutely.
to you and all of you co-creating this community with me, including Lisa. Thank you for being on and sharing your
Thank
beautiful
you.
energy with us. Yes. And thank you for those of you in the comments cheering us on. We love it.
Yeah.
We love the audience. So have a beautiful and blessed evening. And we hope to see you all again soon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.